So if you guys know anything about me, you know I love my settings. I love to tinker and optimize things until they're just right, dude. I like to think of myself as Iron Man. And what good is Iron Man without his suit? And the suit is the settings. And if you guys aren't taking notes by now, take out a pen and paper, because this shit will change your life, brother. One of the things I like to pride myself on is audio quality. It's very important to me, and I think it's fair to say that I know a few things about audio and what makes it quality. So that leads me to the question and topic of today's video. What are the best audio settings for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War? Okay, so here's how we're gonna do this. Me and my boy Swaggy Steve, shout out to Swaggy Steve, shout out my boy Steven. Me and my boy Swaggy Steve hopped into a custom game and tested all the audio settings available, so you guys don't have to. You're welcome. We are going to play out all the audio settings for each specific location and scenario, and after each one, I'll give my thoughts and opinions. It's important to note that we all have different headphones, different ears, different perceptions of what quality audio sounds like. So make sure to listen carefully and come up with a conclusion of your own. But just know, if you have any opinions or leave any comments that contradict mine, you're wrong and stupid. So I want everyone to point and laugh at those people. And if you're not wearing headphones or listening on decent speakers by now, you're a big dumb. Go put on some headphones, you stupid dumb. Okay? But if you really don't want to put on headphones, man, it's okay. Follow me blindly. Be my sheep. I'll guide you. I won't let anything happen to you. Come here. I love you. Alright, let's get into the video, bro. Okay, so this is test number 1. So headphones had the highest overall volume while coming down the stairs and while rounding the corner, hitting at a volume of around -12 dB, faster than all the other mixes and sound settings. But I don't think overall loudness is the most important factor for determining the best overall sound setting. I think sound separation is going to be way more important, or being able to determine what the sound source is compared to other sounds and the dynamics of those sounds, so we can make the most educated decisions based off of the information we are getting from the audio cues. For example, we need to be able to hear the footsteps, yes, but it's also very important to be able to judge the distance of those footsteps, or be able to hear footsteps through other sounds like gunshots, explosions, or even just the overall ambient and background noises from the map itself. But for this test and specific scenario, I would recommend going with bass boost or super bass boost. If you're purely just trying to hear those footsteps in an acquired environment like this, it's probably going to be the best sound setting for you to be able to hear those footsteps. Adding those super low frequencies make it really easy to hear footsteps in a quiet environment and pinpoint where they're coming from. Adding more bass to the mix in this case is a good idea, simply because nothing else is going on. If there were multiple other gunfights happening on the map, the audio mix can become more muddy with bass boost and super bass boost, making it harder to hear the mid-range frequencies and the high-range frequencies where important audio cues live. But we'll get more into that later on in the video. So let's go ahead and move on to the second test. So for this second test, it's just more of the same. The low frequencies really bring out the gunshots from a distance. Boosting the bass comes at the cost of being able to accurately determine where the sound source is coming from. In this scenario, Steven is shooting around the corner and to the right, so the gunshot sound effect is panned to the right side of my headphone accordingly. The issue arises when the low frequencies of the bass takes up more space in the mix than necessary. In this case, bass boost and super bass boost fill up the entire right side of my headphone, making it harder to understand that the gunshots are actually happening forward and to the right. And if there were multiple gunfights happening to my right, both directly to my right and behind me to the right, it would be hard for me to determine what shots I should be more concerned with. The low range frequencies would layer on top of each other, and the mids and the highs will be covered in a blanket of low rumble. A lot of headphones like to boost the bass already, so it's important to really listen carefully and pick a mix that is well balanced. In this scenario, I really like bass boost because it's not as bassy as super bass boost, and I like boost high as well. The Treyarch mix isn't bad either. It's almost like a mixture of bass boost and boost high, but just not as drastic. But let's move on to the third test now. So this one's going to be about crouch walking. So we're just trying to hear the footsteps and very subtle footsteps of the crouch walk. So if you need to turn up the volume and go back and listen, go ahead and do that. For this test, I really noticed that ambient low rumble of the city on super bass boost. So I think it makes it pretty evident that you don't want to be using super bass boost for the most part. It's only going to make it harder to hear footsteps, especially in this specific scenario with the enemy crouch walking. In my opinion, I still think it's between Treyarch mix, bass boost, and boost high. But let's go ahead and move over to the fourth test now. There's no shot. You were sprinting?
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, literally, when you shoot a bullet, it like completely eliminates every other sound. It's almost like a side chain.
Do you know, I know, when I'm running up to you, I stop hearing my footsteps.
Yeah, what the fuck is that, dude? Just everything else in the whole game. Okay, go again, Hold on. I'm gonna switch it.
You see what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. That's so bad, bro. Okay. That is so bad, bro. Whose idea was this? You can't completely eliminate all other audio as soon as you get close to the fucking person who's shooting, dude. This is why you don't hear people. Interesting. Okay, let's try this super bass boost. Jesus, man, the super bass boost just fucking completely, as soon as there's fucking bullets like shooting, it completely eliminates like all fucking sound. All you could hear is that low rumble. Jesus, that's awful. Okay. So this test was very interesting to me. It appears that gunshot sounds take priority over all other sounds, including footsteps in a close proximity of the sound source of the gunshot itself. It's almost like all other sounds are completely muted out compared to the gunshots up close. It's like a side chain effect where the footstep sounds duck behind the bullet sound effects, just completely muting out the footsteps. This, in my opinion, sounds super unrealistic and is very lazy on Treyarch's part. But for my final verdict for Cold War and the best audio settings, my top 3 options in order. Number 1, bass boost. Yeah, in some cases it might be a bit overwhelming in the low frequencies, but I think overall it's a balanced mix with just enough boost in the low frequencies to really hear those footsteps. Number 2 is going to be boost high. Boost high is a great choice as well. I think this is the best choice for being able to accurately judge the specific location of the sound source itself because of the clarity of the mids and the highs without the distraction of the lower frequencies. And number 3 is going to be the Treyarch mix. This is the most balanced mix, in my opinion. Doesn't do too much and is probably the most consistent mix out of all of them. But I do think the game modes you play the most should be a factor with the decision you make as well. You might want to go with bass boost if you play a lot of S&D, simply because there isn't as much shooting around the map and people are more likely to use suppressors, so the upside of being able to hear footsteps with that low frequency boost won't be as much of a compromise compared to a game mode like Domination, where it's complete chaos with non-stop shooting and explosions. So for the Respawn game modes, it might be a better idea to go with boost high or the Treyarch mix to cut out some of that mud you get from the constant layering of the low frequencies. That's going to be it for this one, guys. But if you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much. If you want to consider joining the coop by subscribing and hitting that notification button, I'd love to have you, man. So join the OK Coop family, brother, for more Call of Duty content and commentary like this. Also, I would appreciate you hitting the like button on this one, guys. I put a lot of effort into this one, for sure. But let me know what you guys think the best audio setting is down in the comment section below. Genuinely curious to know your guys' opinions on this. I also wanted to say thank you to all of the positive comments out there. It definitely helps me stay motivated and more optimistic about the future of this channel. So thank you guys again for that. But that's going to be it for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.